Okay, so can we start?
Yes, we can start, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
we can start.
okay, thank you so much. So, today we are starting with the last block, and this is emerging issues in accounting. So, emerging issues in accounting, it is a very small topic and a very easy one also. We are not including any practical in this. This talks about the recent developments which we have noticed in accounting. It may be your green accounting, it may be your forensic accounting, or it may be your accounting in human resource. So, when we talk about accounting, till now we knew that accounting is only playing with numbers. How to adjust the numbers, where to put the numbers, how to derive the desired results from the numbers. But here is something different from numbers, and here we are talking about something which is pure theoretical and which has a very, very important relevance in the history of accounting. So, if we start with the first part of this is related to human resource accounting. Now, we all know what is human resource. Human resource means human capital, the employees, the people working in the organization. And we all know that when we actually determine the cost of production, in that we only take material things into account, like what is the raw materials, what amount of labor, what amount of other important expenditures are included in the product. But we always ignore the pain, the effort, the efficiency of the people who are working in that organization. So, human resource accounting deals with understanding the concept of human resource accounting. We want to know the developments which have focus on HR accountability, the concepts and techniques, and the different human resource models. So, this is the first one that we are going to study, HR accounting. And in this, we will be coming through different approaches, different models, and of course, the theoretical part. So, if we start with the simple meaning, what is HR accounting, then from here it is just the introduction, that what is human resource, why we require human resource, how investment in human resource is important in the organization. So the management is interested to see a link between HR programs and the company's bottom line, that is profit. So managers in general believe that investing in people and providing appropriate HR interventions, initiatives, and solutions can always lead to high sustainable bottom line, that is profit. And if you want to actually increase the profitability of your organization, you need to invest on human resource capital. If you appoint the right, the efficient human resource capital, then the result can be seen in the bottom line, that is in the profits. But again, the problem arises from the fact that when we make investment, that is treated as revenue expenditure, because you are paying salary to the human resource capital and it is simply treated as an expenditure. But here what we say, that it is a capital expenditure, because we are paying salary so that we can increase our profits. The people who are appointed, the human resource who are appointed, they use their skill, their knowledge, their expertise, their know-how, and then what happens with this? They are always initiating in the improvisation of the product or increasing the profitability. So, we need to understand that the investment that we make in human resource, in hiring people, is it actually a revenue expenditure, or it needs to be treated as a capital expenditure? So it becomes difficult for managers to decide that for which program to invest, how much to invest, and whether investment in that particular product is going to add value or not. So in a nutshell, the increasing accountability demanded from the HR department for the resources they demand and consume. What happens? For the demands and consume, they lead to the evolution of various techniques. And now, when we are discussing accountability, we should always know the developments that have led to the focus on human resource accountability. So, all the developments that are related in discussion with human resource accountability, the first one you can see it is the triple bottom line. Now, what is triple bottom line? In older days, traditionally what happens, the success of commercial enterprises, the success of the corporates, it is only measured on the basis of profit. So they make ignoring the fact that the current business operations may have a negative impact on the environment, health of society, social well-being, if the people working in the organization is not efficient. So, triple bottom theory attempts to include the impact of business operations on the environment. This includes certain costs also. So, these costs are not borne by the business but as the society whole. So, when we talk about example, water or air pollution generated by business operations will have a bearing on the whole of the society. So, the company is not paying for the water pollution, but who is paying? It is the society who's affected. So, when we talk about triple bottom line, it is referred to as people, plan, and prosperity. Three P's are included in the triple bottom line. It is people, plan, and prosperity. So, the best place to work or employees of choice, employees should decide where he should work, and the best place to work of his choice depends on the benefits, perks, and perquisites which he gets from the workplace. The third point they're talking about is the investment in HR at macro level studies. So when we make investment in HR, we provide them with high salary. We need to find out that the investment in HR, how it is directly related with the productivity in the same organization. Next, we talk about human capital management focus. So there are a lot of industries which are now they are coming out with more and more economic activities, and now they are shifting from agriculture and manufacturing to the service sector. So they put more effort in that. We need to find out the key indicators. They are the compliance with the policies, the compensation that they get, the safety of these employees, how to retain them, their attrition, and absenteeism in the organization. Accountability demand from management. As the demand for resources is often competitive, there are various divisions in the management. In the human resource development, they are the outcome of the efforts. It may be tangible, it may be related to certain areas which are difficult to measure or quantify. There are HR disasters also. What is HR disaster? When human resource practices have an impactful influence on people and have consequences and impact that the organization in the long run. HR technology. And now we come to the approaches to human resource accountability. How we reach to the human resource accounting. So it is nowadays said that the contribution of human resource function in the enterprise performance, it must be measured and evaluated. But choosing the suitable parameters and approach is a very big challenge in front of the management. So we can discuss certain areas, certain points, which are the techniques of human resource accounting. The first is HR management by objectives, that is MBO. As per this technique, the HR department develops specific objectives. These objectives are developed based on the expectations of the management regarding the targets of various functional parameters. These targets are predetermined, already fixed targets, and these targets are perceived to be necessary to achieve a adequate level of performance. So what are these targets? They may be the turnover, the absenteeism, the job satisfaction that they receive, occupational health, compensation, cost, expenses, productivity, and wastage reduction. These are quantifiable. They can be determined on the basis of quantity. And many of these objectives are for many HR functions. So, what measures are determined and developed must be related to organizational performance in the macro level and at the micro level. They must be able to determine the contribution of HR function to the organization. Next is employee attitude survey. When we talk about employee attitude survey, this technique is used to evaluate the effectiveness of the HR department. Effectiveness of HR department means what? The effectiveness of HR department, it means it is used to understand the link between the attitudes of the employee and the organizational performance. There are several studies which have found that the companies reporting higher than industry average profits, suppose the industry is having 10% profit and that the company belonging to that industry, they are having profits more than that industry. It is because of the employee surveys, whereas companies which have less profitable, they are not using the employee attitude survey. So we need to establish a positive correlationship between organizational performance and attitudes of employee. In this, one we take human resource index, where we compare their progress over time and with other organizations. The other one is HR reputation. HR reputation means the functions of HR are designed in a way that they serve the various constituents of the organization. It may be open communication channels for the employees. It may be showing transparency and having high performance standards. It may be related to the remuneration and rewards which are paid based on the performance. The effective use of employee skills and abilities, employee participation in work decisions, and advancement opportunities. So these are few things which can be taken as an indicator or constituent. So satisfaction of all these indicators or constituent is an important parameter to find the relationship between the satisfaction of these parameters and the organizational performance. We need to also sometimes ignore the profitability of the organization. We need to go with HR auditing. Auditing is what is planned and what is actual done, the mapping of this, the verification of this. So an audit, it is an investigative and a comparative exercise. Investigative in the sense to check out the things are in the right manner or not, no fraudulent activities have taken part, and comparative in the sense that we try to compare of what is expected and what actually has happened. So HR audit is undertaken to measure the effectiveness of the HR function. How effective the HR function is. Is it going to give you certain returns in the form of profit or not? So it involves a systematic search leading to the gathering, compiling, and analyzing the data for specified period of time. First, they try to gather the data, then analyze, compile those data, and then on the basis of compilation, they try to analyze the data. So with the HR area, HR audit is undertaken. It may be department wise, it may be for the mission, it may be for the organization, it is for the people, that is personnel, labor relations, recruitment and selection, training and development, employee relation, employee benefits, compensation, human resource planning, organizational planning and development, employment opportunities, safety and security, facilities, and documentation. So these are the areas in which HR audit is undertaken. So, what is it? First, we take the mission. What is the mission? Why the company is working for? The employees that they have appointed, are they of required skill related to the mission? Do they possess all the qualification? Then we talk about labor relations. What is the labor relation with the management? Is there always a tiff? Do the laborers are always ready to work beyond the working hours, or they always try to dominate the management by threatening them with strikes and all? They also talk about recruitment and selection. Recruitment and selection, how transparent is the policy of recruitment and selection? Transparency of the policy of recruitment and selection, it means that recruitment is on the basis of your requirement. So first we try to invite the applications, then the best applications are selected or scrutinized, and then we call them for further interview. So how transparent is this process? Is the company appointing a person who is very near to the management, or it has a very transparent policy regarding recruitment and selection? Whoever performs, whoever achieves the desired requirements, they can be appointed. We also talk about the employee relations, the employee relations with each other, the employee relation with the management, the employee relations with the other stakeholders. We also talk about training and development. Is the organization providing any training to the employees? In order to provide training to the employees, we need to map their skills, their knowledge. And the deviation in the requirement is calling for training. So, what are the training and development programs which are organized by the organization? We also talk about employee benefits. Employee benefits is not only related to salary, but it has many other broader areas. It can be the compensation, it can be the leaves, it can be the overtime, it can be the benefit regarding extra working time, it can be related how efficient you are in managing your employees, like providing them with cab facility or providing them with refreshment or meals in the organization. We also talk about the auditing of human resource planning. What is human resource planning? The planning is the process that which is the area where the employee recruitment is required. So we need to identify the area, and second identification is related to the requirement of people for that work, and then how many are selected against the requirement. There is so corruption nowadays. In order to maintain a healthy and good relation, the organizations, they sometimes appoint a person who is not really relevant for that work, or else he belongs to a person, he belongs to a family of political influence, or some very strong and influential family. So this family is going to pressurize the organization for appointment of his own child or the people who are working under them. Then we talk about equal employment opportunity. Equal employment opportunity means, are you providing the same opportunity to everyone in the organization? That is, you are not influenced by any political reasons, you are not influenced by the family backup, you are not influenced individually by any person. So these things are to be very much audited, that the requirement procedure has maintained a fair and transparent opportunity for placement. Safety and security and document facilities and documentation. Safety and security, how many policies, how much effective insurance policies you have taken, what are the provisions in case of any fire or disaster in the organization. Safety and security also includes that how much hygienic is the place to work. As we know, there are a lot of theories based on whether the proper lighting system is there, the rooms are filled with sunlight. So these proper sanitary facility, toiletries are there in the organization, clean drinking water, the spaces are very airy. So these are coming under your health and hygiene. And next it is your fac- facilities and documentation. Facilities, what extra facilities? Do the children of the employees, they are provided with free education? Does the organization has a system of infrastructure of banks, schools within the campus? Haven't you have Thus you have been provided with housing facility, conveyance facility, telephone expenditures, and the documentation of all this. So these all things are being audited very carefully by the audit department. Now, HR cost per employee is taken into account to monitor the HR cost. So this is a table which depicts some of the frequent HR costs which are monitored by the organization. You just first read this, then I will explain. These are the HR costs which are taken into account while taking the HR cost. We may not include all this for accounting, but all these have a very important relevance when we talk about the modern HR accounting. Just read them. So did you understood this table? What are the costs which are included in HR cost? Okay. So these are cost for hire, orientation cost. Orientation is the process when an employee is inducted. Anyone raise your hand? When an employee is inducted, then we need to familiarize them with the organization rules. So this is what orientation cost is. Then we have a cost for training and development. We identify the cost per employee. Then total cost which we pay against salary. So what is the percentage of salary if it is compared with the total cost of the organization? Then the next head comes about compensation. Compensation is always related to the expenditures on the basis of operating cost. So individual cost and total compensation cost both are taken into account. Next, it is benefits and perquisites. What are the benefits? Benefits cost as a percentage of the salary bill, and there are benefits like healthcare cost for employee. We take into account the insurance of the employee and so on. Next, we are talking about fair employment. Fair employment is cost per complaint and cost of litigation. Litigation means what? Litigation means if you file a complaint, the legal expenditures that incur, that is litigation. Then we talk about labor relations. It is related to the launch of complaint, cost per grievance, and if there is a strike, if the work has stopped, then what is the cost incurred against the stoppage of work. There are certain areas of safety and health. It includes accidental cost, if any, during the working hours. It also includes cost of penalties and fines. And the last one, the overall HR cost as a percentage of operating cost and how much it is influential against the turnover, that is against the total production and sales. So these are your typical HR cost which are taken into account. Now if we come to the next, we need to measure the efforts of the HR department. These measures of the HR department are linked to the organizational performance. So the key indicators include a set of quantitative measures such as accident rate, absenteeism, turnover, the average time to recruit, etc. So how much efficient is your HR department? This again involves certain things. So if you start with the first one, just read them. Employment, employment opportunity, training, employee appraisal and development, salary administration, benefits, work environment or safety provided by the department to the employees, and the relationship about the people and with the labor. So just have a quick read on this so that I can explain. So if you take into account employment, how the HR department is effective, how many days they have taken to fill the application for requirement of employees, then what is the number of offers made against the application, how much you are effective. EEO, you can see ratio of EEO grievances. It is equal employment opportunity grievances to the employee population. Has anyone complained that you are not fair enough? Has anyone complained that you are providing employment only to the people of your own community, or else to the people who are very influential in certain areas? So these are certain things which we take into account. Or you have taken money against the employment. Then the minority representations by equal employment opportunity categories. In certain cases, in certain employment, you will find that few of the posts are vacant or reserved only for a specific category of people. So have you employed them, or you are using their vacancy also to fill or appoint the people of your own known community. Then, when it comes to the effectiveness of training, percentage of employees completing training programs per job category, how many times in a year you are offering the job, the training opportunities to the employees, and then the total training hours is divided by the people in the organization. So we try to find out the training hours per employee. We also need to find out the employee appraisal and development. Appraisal means that how much you increase the salary, how you are fair enough to do so. So when we talk about employee appraisal and development, it is distribution of performance appraisal ratings, reliability of appraisal ratings, careers, how many promotions you are offering, what is the ratio of promotions per employee, and in a year, what is the average period of providing promotion? Is it based on performance or it is yearly promotion? When it comes to salary administration, what is the percentage of overtime hours you are paying against the salary and the salary? How benefits may be your leaves, then the time period taken to process the claims, then frequency severity ratio of accidents. Is your department, your organization, your industry, your factory is accident prone area? Enough measures, safety measures are not there in the organization. So what is the frequency or severity of ratio of accidents that is incurred, and the ratio of OSHA? When we talk about OSHA, OSHA means the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. So when we talk about OSHA, OSHA is Occupational Safety and Health Administration citations to number of employees. How much benefit regarding to occupational safety and health administration is provided to each individual in the organization. Labor relations, of course, the percentages of grievances settled, complaints settled, and what is the time taken to settle those complaints. And last, it is the people who are always absent. Are there more people who are absent in the organization? And what is the turnover rate? How many times you are going for recruiting the people, as the people are frequently leaving the jobs. So these are the areas where even the HR department's efficiency is taken into consideration. So there are three measures reflecting the HR department's contribution, and these three measures are productivity as reflected in the cost, quality as reflected in repair rate, and employee retention or relation as reflected in the absenteeism and suggestion. Now, this table depicts the sophisticated HR practices that have an impact on financial performance. Financial performance is, of course, we are talking here about the profitability of that organization. So, what are those sophisticated HR practices that have an impact on financial performance? Just read these 7, 8 points. So I think it is clear. We take into account employment test for selection, final performance appraisal, appraisals linked to compensation, participation in variable pay or company incentive plans. Then we take into account non-entry jobs filled from inside the organization, access to a formal grievance procedure, a formal information sharing program, attitude surveys, and some form of labor management cooperation. So these are the sophisticated HR practices. There is one more study which has been taken place involving 71 organizations from 8 industry segments, and they have identified 6 variables of HR functions which have a bearing on organizational performance. Now, the first one is HR expenses compared to total operating cost. HR expenses compared to total operating cost. The next one is total compensation compared to total operating cost. So first it is HR expenses. Second one is compensation cost. Next is again the total operating cost expenses compared with total cost of benefits that is provided to the employees. Total cost of benefits that is provided to the employees. Next, we are talking about training and development expenses. Training and development expenses divided by total employees, then you can have the expenditures incurred on each employee. Of course, absence rate and turnover rate are the other areas. So HR employee index developed represented a composite of 6 measures. HR profit centers. So this HR accounting is taken as an decision tool. First, it is investment decision. When we talk about investment decision, we need to find out that its comparison with your profit, the amount that you pay, that amount that you invest. I told you we take the payment made to salary against revenue expenditure. But this emerging issues of accounting states that it is helping in further profits. They're giving their expertise to generate more profits. So instead of using it as a revenue expenditure, it should be used as a capital expenditure. Next, they're talking about human resource planning. Now, human resource planning is the process for acquisition, utilization, improvement, and preservation of human resources of an organization. Now, so many things, so many variables are included. It is acquisition, utilization, improvement, and preservation of human resource. Now, acquisition is, of course, your recruitment and selection. Utilization, you are using them in which area, what is their job profile, which department they are going to work. Then improvement, how you are going to improve them. Improvement includes training and development. If they want certain extra qualities, if they do not possess those qualities, those skills, you need to provide them, you need to enhance their skills through training and development. Again, we talk about after improvement, it is preservation of human resources. Preservation includes making them stay in the making them stay in the same organization. Making them stay in the same organization will be through providing them with all the benefits in the organization. So, from a strategic perspective, human resource planning is defined as the process by which management determines how an organization should make from its current manpower position to its desired manpower position. When we use this challenge, the when we use human resource practice in the organization, so in practicing human resource planning, one of the important challenge that we face, it is the absence of information and objective monetary values of HR variables. People are not aware also. For example, the loss from employee attrition, that if a employee is leaving your company, leaving the job, you cannot it cannot be assessed as the value of employee is known only for their immediate work group, and that known value is also subjective. So if an employee is leaving the organization, you can appoint another one, and you think that the work which was not completed or the work which was disturbed or withheld will be continued as soon as a next person joins. But we ignore the fact that how much cost it has taken incurred on appointment, on providing him training, orientation, and other areas. So this is unaware, and this information is missing. Performance management system. Performance management system, again, it is taking into account the performance of the predetermined goals. You need to have the performance expectation, and accordingly they are to be achieved. Next important area is your training and development, and it is a continuous process. Training is enhancing the skill in order to maintain a competitive edge or advantage. So in order to cope up with the changes in the present, we always need a proper training and development programs. So for these programs to be successful, the management shall be able to assess the programs, and they should also estimate the expected payoffs or return on the investment. Are the employees going to be enhancing their skills? Those enhanced skills is going to benefit in your profits. So these are the areas which needs to be considered, or we should always try to find out the alternative training programs so that the best training program can be given. Compensation, we have talked a lot about compensation. So compensation management, it is the process of establishment and implementation of policies, programs, and practices that determine the salary, incentive, and benefits of each employee. So information from HRA can be used by the salary administrators through a proper salary structure. It should be very fair enough, and it should be according to the work they are contributing to. The next is the human resource accounting measurement models. And in these measurement models, we have the methods based on cost and the methods based on value. If we take into account the methods based on cost, then it includes the historical cost, it includes the replacement cost, current cost, direct and indirect cost, fixed and variable cost, and standard cost. So this is the method, this is the flow chart, which is methods based on cost. Just have a look into it, then I will explain it what it is. Just have a look. So we can see that, okay. So the first one, we are talking here about acquisition cost. What is acquisition cost? Acquisition cost is the cost on recruitment. It is the cost for selection. Recruitment applications are invited, and selection, we select the one which we require. Then the next one is hiring and placement cost. So these are the three variables which are included in acquisition cost. The second one we talk about is about training and development cost. In training and development cost, it is formal training, on the job training, special training, and all the development programs, welfare and amenities inside the organization. Next, welfare cost. Welfare cost is welfare and amenities inside the organization. It can be outside the organization. And the other cost, it includes health of workers, safety of workers, welfare of workers. So, in this manner, it is divided into, this is all this type of cost, it is coming under your, you can see, historical cost. This is all your this is all your historical cost. Coming to the next, this is your replacement cost model. When you replace a person with the existing one, what are the costs that is to be taken into account? So when you appoint a new person to replace the old one, the first one is of course the cost that was involved in the acquisition cost. Then it is the learning cost. The learning cost was through formal training. Then it was separation cost. Separation cost is the cost that you have paid as a compensation. So these all things are included in your replacement cost. So if we go with the summary, we'll just read out the summary, what is there in HR accounting. So there is an increasing demand for accountability regarding the value creation of the human resource function. The management is interested to see a link between HR programs and the company's bottom line, that is profit. So investing in the people and providing appropriate HR interventions, initiatives, and solutions can result in an increased and sustainable bottom line over a medium horizon. However, the problem is that there is no direct link between the profitability and HR function. So, this problem partly arises from the fact that the investment that is made in HR, they are treated as revenue expenditure rather than treating them as capital expenditure. So, in the absence of any direct correlation between HR interventions and the profitability, and in the lack of measurement of benefits of HR intervention, it becomes very difficult for managers to decide for which program to invest, how much to invest, and whether a particular program is going to add value or not in the terms of profitability. So, human resource accounting, it is an attempt to address some of these issues. The basic premise of HRA is that expenses related to the development of human resources are capital expenses. Kindly do not treat them as revenue expenditures, and then they should be treated as an asset, because the human resource is to be treated as an asset, because the gains from human resource development are going to accrue to the organization for a considerable period of time. So there are various. Yes, you want to say something? Whose mic is on? So there are various techniques which have been developed to value human resources, and we have seen today those techniques. We need to understand the concept of cost incurred in each level, whether it is acquisition, whether it is separation, whether it is learning, whether it is training and development. So we need to understand the cost incurred, and the most important thing is that the cost is incurred. On the other hand, it is based on the value. So how much value it is creating for the organization? It is not only the cost that is incurred, but also it is creating a value for the organization. It is known for the companies are known, big companies are known for their HR practices that they have. So this is what is the conclusion from HR accounting. I hope the things are clear. Now we are starting with the second part, or the last one. It is your forensic accounting. Am I clear with this? Just let me know. Am I clear?
You are clear, ma'am, but you are so fast.
Mama.
Very, very fast.
No, I am fast because there is nothing to explain. Na? We don't have anything to explain today in the form of practical. It is a pure theory. And the simple understanding from the first part of HR accounting is that we need to understand that the people who are employed in an organization, they are the assets of the company. People say, the organizations feel that we are paying salary, we are just trying to, we are uplifting them or something like that. But when we talk about the actual situation, it is the people it is the human capital who are actually increasing the profitability of the company. They are giving their expertise, they're giving their skill, they're giving their knowledge. After giving so many things, also the owners, the employers, they feel like, yes, we have done something very good by paying them salary or by paying them overtime allowances or some benefits. It's like providing mercy to the employees. So the concept says that there are a lot of things which can be taken into account as a cost. So when you are paying when lot of cost is involved in the acquisition, in retaining of the employees, then why the employees are not treated as a capital, as an asset? So this is what is the concern which has been raised in the current scenario of accounting. These are the emerging issues, not only in accounting, but it is an emerging issue in the management also. Am I clear? So I don't think I was very fast, because it's all based on theory. And these understandings are already there with you, because most of us are all working. We understand the pain of being an employee.
Yes, ma'am.
How we are treated in the organizations, we all know. After giving so much efforts, after giving so many man hours, then too, it is simply that they have appointed us and they are paying salary, so we are working on their mercy. We don't have any independence, we don't have any right to speak about. We are always having a threat of losing the job. I think many of you will agree with me.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, so this is what you have to write in this. There is nothing much which is very technical. Okay, you have to, it is a process. When a person is appointed, then what is the process? And we will see that there are 2-3 tables that we have discussed. In each table, it is the cost incurred in each process, in each step, whether it is a recruitment, whether it is a selection, whether it is a grievance, whether it is the redressal of your complaint, whether it is given training. So in each step, in each phase, the cost is involved. So we need to take into account the cost while estimating the firm's production. We should not think that it is simple and salary is only a mere expenditure. Salary is not only a mere expenditure. Okay?
Madam, I have a question.
Yes. Yes,
So,
Kelvin.
yes. So, if we are to take employees as part of the assets or the expenses that are made as a capital expense, so would it be right to include this part of accounting on our budget, like on the overall evaluation and of the value of the company? Is it going to take into consideration the
Kelvin, I just want to bring to your knowledge that there are now many companies which have started presenting the budget, which includes the cost for human capital. When they present the budget of their organizations, they also present the expenditure that is going to be included in the forthcoming recruitment, selection, and all. So there are companies, what I said, there is a lack of information, awareness. Now, this has been one of the important aspects nowadays in the emerging trends of management. And people have started understanding this, that is why we talk nowadays human resource as a human resource capital. Okay? So capital means something which is an input for the profit. Understood? So it will take time, but again, at the same time, there are companies which have included the human resource capital also. But at the same time, we know that in the balance sheet, we are going to take only the material information. We are only going to take the information which can be expressed in terms of money. So for each and every activity that is included in your human resource practice, that has to be converted in terms of money. So when you raise funds for training, you have to show that against the training, what benefits you are going to derive against it. Are the employees going to be really enhancing the skill, or it is only a namesake? We all know when we attend the conferences, workshops, these are a part of training. But at the same time, many of us are working only because we need a certificate that we have complied with the rules. How many of you are really benefited, and how many of you we are actually putting the knowledge in our workplace? We are assigned with a particular work and we go on doing that work. We never try to use certain innovation in that area because we know that we are appointed only for a specific work. A job profile has been already given to us. So we don't want to do any innovation, and sometimes we also have a mindset that if we do the innovation, then we can have an additional liability, additional burden on us. So these things needs to be addressed very frequently, and it is the organization, it is the HR department, the management which is going to bring this change. Clear?
Yes, very. Thank you.
Big companies like Google and all, they are taking this as a human capital. In a separate annexure, they show what is the capital, how many people are working. Though it is not included in the balance sheet, but it is provided as an information. the people working in the organization, what is their qualification, what is their pay packages, what is the system of giving them benefits. This all are included as an additional information in their financial statements. So just 5 minutes, then we will start with the next and the last topic for the day. It is your forensic accounting. This is also very easy one, and we all are dealing with this. Just 5 minutes and we will start. So we are starting with forensic accounting. So when we talk about forensic accounting,
Yes.
this is a specialized field of accounting. What we do in this, we try to use our financial expertise and then we mix it with investigative skills so that we can uncover the financial information for legal purposes. So it is often used, forensic is something related to fact finding. So it is often used in cases of fraud, financial misconduct, or disputes where financial records and transactions are in question. So forensic accountants are responsible for examining and interpreting the financial data and providing expert testimony in court when necessary. I hope you understood what I want to say. So whenever there is some fraud, some financial misconduct, there is a question of inappropriate or fraud, misrepresentation of your financial documents, data, then the forensic accounting takes place. So sometimes what happens, the organizations, they destroy the records. So the forensic accountant or the persons who are involved in forensic accounting, they try to extract the hidden information from the records and then present it to the court. Am I clear?
Come again, ma.
You want me to explain it again?
Yes.
So I'm talking about forensic accounting. So forensic accounting, it is the combination of your financial knowledge, financial expertise, your know-how in the field related to finance. And then you should have an additional skill, which is investigative skill. Why are you required to make a combination of your financial expertise and investigative skill? To uncover the facts, to uncover and analyze the financial information which are required for legal purposes. They are required by the court and you need to furnish the details to the court. So it is often used in the cases of fraud. It is used in the cases of financial misconduct, like money laundering, or you have taken the money from the organization. There is something which has been, there is a fraud in foreign exchange transactions or disputes where financial records and transactions are in question. The court may say that the books of accounting which you are providing, they are not authentic. They have been mishandled, misinterpreted. So the forensic accountants, they're responsible for examining and interpreting the financial data and then provide their expert testimony, their knowledge, their reports to the courts whenever they are being asked for. Am I clear now?
Yes, ma.
Okay. Now, the next important thing is that the key aspects of forensic accounting. What areas are there? So the first one is investigating financial irregularities. Financial irregularities means that embezzlement, cash embezzlement, you have taken the cash from the organization, fraud, then money laundering, and any other financial crimes. For all these purposes, the forensic accountants, they use their skills to trace the frauds and then they try to uncover the hidden assets and identity for financial discrepancies. They try to identify the hidden informations related to all these financial irregularities. The second important aspect in forensic accounting is gathering evidence. Now, when the frauds are committed, money laundering is committed, financial misrepresentations are there, People, they try to destroy the evidence. They don't want to keep the evidences in the first hand. So the forensic accountants, they try to gather the evidences, collect the informations, and then on the basis of their knowledge, they try to analyze the financial data. They try to check the bank records, try to check the tax returns, they try to compare the financial statements, and if required, they also go for preparing again the financial requirements and other documents so that they can gather the evidence that can be used for legal proceedings. They try to make use of the witnesses. They try to involve people who have been involved in all these activities or who can throw certain light on the activities. They also try to go with fraud detection and prevention. They also play a proactive role by helping the organizations implement systems that can control and prevent the fraud and financial misconduct. They try to suggest the management the ways through which fraud can be detected, and moreover it can be prevented in occurrence. They help in the litigation support. Litigation support means when a case is filed, they help in preparing the case documents, and then by providing the legal case documents with their expertise, they help to build a strong case. They also try to quantify the damages. They try to find the financial damages or losses where the individuals or businesses suffered due to the action of others who have committed the frauds. The most important thing is that due diligence. Due diligence means they should investigate and assess the matters with due integrity, with their full knowledge, so that there should not be any falsification. So, forensic accountants, they should have a strong understanding of basic accounting principles, the financial regulatory frameworks, and the investigative techniques. There also has to be very excellent attention to detail and to ability to communicate the complex financial information so that they can arrive to a concise manner. The most important thing is that they are involved in helping with the legal proceedings. So financial transparency and accounting is more important in such cases. So why fraud occurs? Fraud occurs because of this fraud triangle. What is this fraud triangle? Incentive and pressure, then opportunity, and rationalization of attitude. When we say incentive and pressure, then the management and employees are often put under pressure or offered incentives to achieve certain milestones, which can be financial, operational, related to sales, caste, etc. So, in order to fulfill the targets, the people can be realistic or unrealistic. So, where the problem arises? When they are unrealistic. So, the problem arises when unrealistic targets are tied to remuneration and advancement opportunities. And in order to achieve this, to get the incentives offered by the company, they start manipulating the results, put pressures on others to do so. Then we talk about the personal financial problems, the greed of the people, dishonesty, no fear of being caught or punished. They don't have a fear that their credibility, their goodwill, their name is going to be destroyed, damaged in the society. They always look for good opportunity. So whenever they get an opportunity to make money, they always try to use that opportunity. There are certain psychological reasons also for these risk factors. They don't have a clarity about corporate ethical values. They take the risk at a very lighter note. They are not aware about the budgeting and forecasting. There will be a variance. They do not have a good relationship with the auditors. These are the case studies which highlights the major corporate frauds, playing with the balance sheets, playing with the capital of the company. It is Satyam Computer, it is Kingfisher Airlines, it is Jetways, it is Bhushan Steel, PNB fraud, ILFS. These are the case studies where you can read WorldCom Enron Corporation scandal. So application of forensic accounting. So we know that in forensic accounting, the principal area is fraud detection and prevention. It is not only detection, but it is also prevention. So the specific practice areas for this forensic accounting are bankruptcy, insolvency, and reorganization. So the forensic accountant can be availed by debtors in case of bankruptcy, insolvency, and when there is reorganization of the capital structure of the firm. Next, it is by computer forensic analysis. Most of the transactions nowadays are done electronically with the help of softwares. So all the informations can be found in files stored on location in the computer infrastructure. The competency of forensic accounting lies in knowing the type of electronic information that may exist. Next is economic damage calculation. How much damage is there, loss to the party. Family law. There are certain family laws which are there, and what is they say for the fraud. Financial statement misrepresentation. You are playing with the financial statements of the organization. Fraud prevention and detection and response. How you are preventing. These are the techniques used by the management in the organization. We need to go with business valuations. We should find out. Next comes the types of fraud. So in the types of fraud, you can see this fraud tree. We have a family tree. In the same manner, we have a fraud tree, and you can just go through it and see how many types of fraud are there in the workplace. Just look in this type of frauds. So you can see these are the various types of fraud. It can be related to cash, it can be anything. These are the different types of fraud. The explanation is there, and we all know also. These are the different types of fraud. Take cash taken from the organization, payroll fraud, using of assets of business organization. So there is a fraudulent financial reporting schemes. So if you report the employees working in the organization are required to report the frauds to the concerned, and there is even imprisonment also. So the policies of detection of fraud, if done, it should be made aware to the people. There are certain tools to detect the fraud. Company to company they may vary, and in the most important and efficient way to detect the fraud is to recognize the fraud and to have the measures of prevention. That is more important. In last few decades we have seen that corporate frauds have been extensively occurred and they have been classified. So we need to control the business frauds, and the main frauds are from the perspective of financial statements. So we need to have a group of auditors who are genuine, who can investigate properly, who are not influenced by the employees working in the organization, and so on. So this is all related to forensic accounting. This is all from my side. So if you have any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, I am done. If you have marked your attendance, it is registered, you can leave. Kindly mark your attendance, that is important. You need to mark your attendance.